Hey, 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 it's me again. So, here's one more installment about this writing assignment about your Passion Week cross. We talked about the topic sentence. And by the way, I did say this last time, but it could be that you don't write your topic sentence first. I forgot to say that, but you could maybe write this middle part that we're going to talk about right now first, and then figure out the topic sentence. That's possible. So just keep that in mind. So anyway, let's just talk about the middle. Let's just you got that either you have the topic sentence on the shelf and you're going to do it later, or it's good to go and now you're ready for the meat of this thing. What is the main point? You may have to be clear on that, right? What are you trying to say here? Remember, this whole paragraph is about um, the meaning behind the materials that you use to make the cross. How can you make that connection between the biblical story of the cross and the materials that you chose to make your cross? Um, so, what is it that you want the reader to feel when they look at your cross? What do you want them to know about what you thought about when you made your cross? That's all part of this paragraph. So you actually have some fairly short like requirements about how many sentences this has to be, depending on if you're a fifth grader or sixth grader, and you can look at the assignment for that. But if you really dig deep into this, those requirements will probably be too short. You'll need more. You'll need to write more to really say what you're trying to say if you're digging deep, like I know you can. So anyway, what about the meat of this? How do you go about writing these sentences really effectively? Just a couple of tips. Again, these are not going to be new to you. Your writing teachers have told you this many times, but I'm just reminding you. What do you do um, for the middle of the paragraph to really make it solid? Okay, number one, I want you to think about literally counting the words in your sentences, and none of your sentences should be exactly the same. And better yet, if you have some variety, some may be really short on purpose, right? It has to still be, well, it doesn't have to be a complete thought. It could be an intentional fragment, right? We've talked about those. Um, but your sentences will flow better if there's variety in length. If they're all the same, especially if they're all the same and fairly short, is going to be choppy and not fluent, and it's not going to sound like fifth or sixth grade writing. It's going to sound more like second or third grade writing. You know, but also you have to remember to use your punctuation. So you're not going to have just one big long on and on and on and then and then and then, right? Those are terrible. No, you have to put some punctuation in there, but you need some variety of sentence length, and you also need to have variety in how your sentences begin. So maybe after you write it, go back and go, oh, look at that. I had three sentences in a row that started almost the same way. You can still use your ideas in those sentences, but just figure a way to mix up how you say it so that they don't begin the same way. Okay? Good tip for writing all the time. Okay, so another thing is you're gonna come across probably some important, some solid, some words with some real meaning. Um, you have to be careful not to overuse those words. So this is a fairly short paragraph. You're not going to want to use those words again and again and again. So one option, use your thesaurus, right? It's not a dinosaur, it's actually a book. If you don't have a book, I know you have internet, so use the word synonym, synonym, synonym for, just type it, synonym for whatever word you're looking for. And you'll get an online thesaurus that'll help you think of some ideas. Now, of course, you can't just use any old word that pops up with that. You have to make sure it makes sense, but you can do that. So use those tools to use the very best vocabulary that you can. Okay. Um, so the other thing you don't want to use, and I know you know this, 5L, you just wrote a paragraph about this idea. Don't use words that belong in the word jail, right? You know what I mean. Words that are so overused, they have really virtually no meaning. Words like really or very, and there's a whole bunch more. You know what I'm talking about. So use your noggin. No word jail type words. That'll make this meaty, right? Let me think. All right, we talked about, oh, the other thing, order and organization. So you've got all these great ideas, but they can't come flying in from everywhere, right? No, no, no. They need to be organized. So figure out how should they flow so that the paragraph makes sense. So it doesn't sound like clunk, 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 right? But no, like not like rocks dropping out of a glass, but like syrup flowing. Yeah, okay, got the idea. Okay, so I'm not going to make a separate video clip about the title, but I mentioned it last time, and I'm going to mention it again right now, and I'm going to do it again when we're talking about the conclusion. Your clever title. You need to have a clever title for this. Your clever title will serve a purpose in the whole experience that you're giving your reader. So it might be something that you pull from the topic sentence. You might wind up saying it again in the concluding sentence. Maybe not both, maybe just one or the other. But the point is here, you need a better title than, my cross project or my wooden cross or my stone cross. Oh, by the way, just a minute. I'm going to go get a cross I have right here that my son made when we did this project before. This is one of them. Can you see this? He made this with his grandpa way back when he was in the 5th grade. He's 22 now, so it's a long time ago, but it was really cool. So, did you see that? Jesus is Lord. Before I make the conclusion sentence video, I'll go get the other cross that we have that he did with that. I'll show you that as well, just to give you some ideas. So when he wrote about this cross, he wrote about the intricacy. He tied that idea. He tied in the wood, of course. He tied in the idea about how they're all together. Yeah, anyway, I don't want to give away the whole paragraph, but you get the idea. So be intentional about the materials you make your cross with. The more intentional you are about that, the easier this writing piece is going to be. Okay, I'm really hoping to be able to somehow publish the pictures and these artist statements together somehow. I don't know how this is all going to look yet, but this is a piece that is important to not just your grade, right? Please tell me you're not just doing this for the grade, because no, the idea behind this project is much bigger, much deeper than that, right? We've talked about so many times how God has clues about how he wants us to be his people in this world. And he has those clues hidden in his creation, like the rock cycle, right? We learn about how God wants us to be by paying attention to those kinds of things. And this is a way that you can express the way you understand that to somebody else. So this could be meaningful to someone else as well, not just you and not just me. Even though you're important, even though I'm important, this could be really meaningful to someone else as well. Okay, so I'll hit you back up in a little bit when I talk about the concluding sentence. Until then, get to work and have fun. And I miss you like crazy, crazy, crazy people, but we're going to get through this, right? God's got us. I know it. See ya.